Greetings, salutations, my friends and family. I assume no one in the family is watching this, but salutations. It is your boy, TKD, 123 here, back again with another episode of Cross Circle, the weekly PlayStation podcast hosted by yours truly of the PlayStation Source channel, Christian Buckley and Kevin Diaz, as per usual. So this is the dedicated pre-show. Hope you all enjoyed the nice Easter weekend. I certainly did. So that is where we're at. You know? How are y'all doing in the chat? I'm gonna call Christian and see if he's ready to go. Actually, wrong call. Wrong type of call. Do a voice call here. Where is that? There we go. Like such. There we go. Salutations.
Hello.
What's poppin'? Welcome to the pre-show.
Hey. Can you hear the fan? I have a question.
Ever so slightly.
Is it annoying? Because I can shut it off.
No.
Is there anyone in the chat that they have opinions?
Yeah, we are live in the pre-show, so ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear Christian's fan in the background when he's not talking, and if it is an annoyance, let the homie know. I noticed.
Shut it off.
Notice you get a beard trim.
I did. I thinned down at the sides. I do that in the summer.
I'm enjoying it. I also like to trim my beard down. I haven't done it yet, but you know it's a little bit too hot, especially over here with you in the East Coast with that humidity.
Yeah.
Definitely not fun to have a big beard. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I trimmed it down like last Friday, I think.
I see.
I went for the Aquaman Momoa fade into goatee.
I dig it. You're like, yo, give me that. I dig
fade
it.
into goatee. That Jason Momoa.
You're like, give me that Jason Momoa cut. I feel that.
Speaking of him, I've been watching Game of Thrones all weekend.
Is he in it?
Yeah.
Jason, wait, seriously?
Season 1, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Did not know that. Just sharing some links.
Okay. Check your Twitter because I sent you a comparison about the Switch version and the PS4 version of Mortal Kombat.
That was something I wanted to bring up here in the pre-show. I would like everyone to go in, chime in. Oh, okay, I will be watching that later. Okay, I'll be watching that. Here's the bit. I mean, I'm sure you could probably answer this because I bet you've seen this video before.
Yes.
Does it run not 60 on the Switch?
No, it runs 60.
Okay, that's good.
Always.
Okay.
Handheld docked runs 60.
Okay, that is great. That is great.
It is the visual aspect that scales.
So, dependent.
So, like,
yeah.
fidelity.
That makes sense. Yeah. So dependent on your viewing of this, I will of course watch it later on, in the day. But would you say you would be happy with playing on the Switch version of MK11?
Probably.
Okay.
My friend Omar, I think, is leaning towards it. I think he has a pre-order for PC, but he said he might get it on Switch also.
Interesting.
I think if I was gonna get it, I might buy it on PS4. Just because there's 2 PS4s in my house. There's one Switch. And I may just see if my brother wants to be able to play it too.
I see.
And most of the time, if I go over a friend's house and we're using our Switches, we're playing Smash or something.
Right.
So if I want to play Mortal Kombat with them, I'll just be like, hey, I'm bringing the PS4 copy. Because Mortal Kombat 11, I'm thinking about buying it.
Right.
One of the rare exceptions where I might buy a physical disc.
Interesting.
Because that way, you just can bring it anywhere.
I'm leaning ever so slightly towards Switch, but I'm still undecided currently. I just see a lot of pros, and if the only real con on the Switch version is just the visuals, I can live with that. You know what I'm saying? I can live with that, you know? But If it was like sacrificing frame rate, then that would be
Yeah,
a very serious issue. Yeah.
It still runs 60 always.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, I want everyone to sign off my Twitter. Links in the description. Go on there. There's a poll up. I'll look at the ratings right now. I'll see. But I feel like people are going to say PS4 Pro, which is under, of course. Oh, wow. Switch is sweeping right now.
Interesting.
86% of the vote is leaning towards Switch. That is interesting.
I did vote Switch.
Because
Because I think for you personally, with what you just posted, Switch might be the move.
Yeah, because, there is the roommate formula and all this where, it'd be cool, hey, let's jump on MK11.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do online, like we can do it locally. We could just, my friend has a Pro controller as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we, it should be easy peasy lemon squeezy as the kids say, but I don't know. So interesting development. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, links have been shared. I believe everything is a-okay if you are also ready.
I think I'm good.
All right, let me just do some last minute. This over here.
Oh, you know what's really annoying?
What is really annoying?
My left earbud stopped working.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the title of this?
Top 5 PS5 wishes.
I feel like there could be more to be done there. I just quickly did something before.
Top 5 things we want from the PS5 Day One.
Okay. I like that a lot more. I'm just an idiot today. Top 5 things we want from for
PS5
Day One.
Or for PS5. You don't need the. You don't want it.
Yeah, I guess not the for PS5.
Day One in caps, probably.
Gotcha. Day One. Okay. Let's save that. Should be saved.
Cool.
It'll pop up soon, but all right, my good sir, Christian, are you ready for this?
I'm gonna shut the fan off.
Okay.
Just in case.
Really? I mean, honestly, hearing it's really not that bad. Honestly, I don't.
I'm
I
still
barely.
gonna do it. I just need to
Okay.
cool my room down a little earlier.
That's fine. I wish there was a way on Skype for you to still hear me, even though I can't display it on Skype because like it'll show up in the top right hand screen, no matter what, and it's kind of annoying. But I'm sure I could probably fix that at some point.
All right, I'm good to go when you are.
All right, as am I. And let's roll that intro. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 35 of Cross Circle, the official podcast for PlayStation Source. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley. Joining me this week is Mr. Kevin Diaz.
What is happening? Salutations. Why, hello.
Hello. The last time we spoke technically was some Apex over on twitch.tv/PlayStation
It
Source.
was that. We did not do well. Mind you,
We got close.
The immediate match after you left, I got a W.
Nice.
I don't know
Very
what
nice.
happened. I don't know what it is.
We did get close that first one. We were like
did.
top 3.
100%. Yeah, no. I think top 2.
Okay.
Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe top 3, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
But it looks like we're probably going to be jumping back into some BR later in the week. I don't know if you saw that Fortnite.
Oh, yeah,
Avengers
Fortnite Marvel.
thing. Feel like there could be a stream there. We'll see.
Shout out to me. I predicted that for the Game Awards. It's finally happening.
Indeed. Our boy Christian here, out here with the leaks. How did you know? What'd you do? Text Russo?
I got inside people.
You texted Russo, so I see that. Like a little group chat.
The last time we did a podcast, I should say, the very next day, we found out officially the PlayStation 5, not officially the PlayStation 5, the next PlayStation, It's got a solid state drive. I'm hyped up about that.
Indeed.
Mark Cerny's leading development again. Going to be backwards compatible with PS4 games.
Indeed. A lot of good things. We have a full in-depth video as well on the channel you can check out as well to get all of the scoop on that. And there was some other stuff that they brought up later on that was separate from that Wired article, but it was on Twitter. That was covered on Save Slot of last week as well. So if you go check out those 2 videos, you'll get all the info there. So
we're not going to touch on stats or horsepower a ton this week on this episode, but a shout out to Armin in the chat. He asks, do you think the next Xbox will be as strong as the PS5?
I believe comparable, but there are reports coming out. I don't know if you saw this weekend, but they're saying that the next Xbox will be more powerful than the PS5, quote unquote. So,
I would believe it. I believe, because the thing is, Xbox has 2 SKUs next gen. They got the cheaper version and the beefcake version.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the beefcake version may be stronger than the best PS5, but I don't think that's a problem. I never get turned off by specs, really.
Right.
And that's why we're not going to be touching on specs that much.
Right. I agree. Like, because I mean, we can talk specs all we want, right? But keep in mind, dude, Last of Us ran on PS3 with half a gig of RAM.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, even less than that. Half of that RAM was used for the OS of the PS3. When you think about it, so Last of Us PS3 ran on half a gig of RAM.
I don't know anything about this, so I'm just
Half of a half. Like 250 megabytes. Like that's insane. So I just don't think specs are like, good way of talking about games, but continue, my good sir.
Yeah, so as it's clear, I know nothing about specs. I know a solid state drive is good because I have one of those for video editing, and I love it.
Very, very good.
But today, what we're going to be talking about is the top 5 things, very broad scheme. This could be features, this could be services, this could be games, this could be quality of life options that we want the PlayStation 5 to have the second we plug it in to our television sets.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So the first one, we both agree that this is something we desperately want to see, and I would say something that I believe could very well be a thing that happens.
Yeah, think so.
Because Guerrilla Games is no stranger to putting out a game to launch a system.
Absolutely. They did with the PS4, because on Shadowfall.
They did.
Indeed.
They did.
They have done that.
So, day one, both of us would really love to see Horizon 2, Horizon's sequel, whatever they're going to call it, which we actually talked about last week. Last week's episode was all about Horizon's sequel.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would love to see Horizon 2 the second I buy my PS4. PS5, sorry.
Yeah. I think also, with Horizon 1 being a great game and not seeing Horizon since 2017, I feel like the calendars line up to a sequel coming out around this time next year, or in time for launch of 2020 PS5. So to me that makes sense logically, but what also makes sense, I think could be a really good benefit as well, is the same benefit as to having like a racing game on a launch console to show off its graphics, its power. I think Horizon could definitely be a good display of like what the PS5 can do, given the spec sheet of the PS5. What kind of open world they could create and the graphic fidelity of that world, and showcase that with the PS5. I think both of those could really work in the PS5's benefit, and also in itself being a great game that even the hardcore fans are looking forward to as well. Instead of just having like some fancy looking racing game like GT, even though GT has a well-renowned crowd and a lot of people, enjoy that IP and enjoy those games, it could be just a reflection of that same type of strategy with Horizon Zero Dawn 2 for launch. So I think it's a good bet.
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah.
I think more often than not, especially with the PS4, when it launched, we had some all right open world games. A couple months after launch, we got Infamous Second Son, which was probably the first real good
open,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
because there was like some Assassin's Creeds on there. There was that Middle Earth game.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah,
Okay.
which were pretty all right open worlds, but like they felt very familiar, you know.
Right, right, right.
With Horizon, I feel like Horizon 2, having been in development this long, assuming they've been working on it since they took their vacation for completing Horizon. Um,
Cause you also gotta think like when did they pick up development of Horizon Zero Dawn 2 after the Frozen Wilds DLC? You know,
right.
and like
Like there,
when
maybe they had a team working on concept stuff for then pre-production. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's not completely out of the question to believe that we could be seeing a Horizon sequel, if not at launch window, maybe first 6 months.
Yeah,
But
100%.
for the sake of what we're talking about now, we're just gonna ask for it day one.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
Um, I'll hop into one of mine next.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, why not?
So we just mentioned briefly when we went over the whole specs thing that it's going to be backwards compatible with the PS4, PS4 games at least.
Mm-hmm.
So in line with that, I'll say that I own one, two, three, four, five, six. I own 7 discs out of my probably like 100 something games I have on PS4. I own a lot of digital games. Some of those are from PlayStation Plus, but I own a lot of digital games. Ever
Yeah,
since probably fall 2017, almost every game I've bought, with the exception of God of War, Spider-Man, and I think that might be it, has been digital.
I know the last physical game I bought. Looking at my catalog right here up top, not my catalog, my shelf of games. Let me talk about catalog.
Hmm.
Is Detroit.
Okay.
That was the last physical game I bought. Um, in a slew of games that I already bought digitally, and like a lot of them are PS. I think I have something like one. It's definitely over 100. I don't know how many
I
I have on
I
PS4.
think I'm in like 130-ish.
I want to say probably around there. Honestly, probably around there, similar to what I have too. So, a lot of them are just adding the PS Plus games to the library just to have it, just in case everyone play it down the line.
Right.
But yeah, I would say as well that I also definitely skew a lot more towards digital, and the industry as a whole, I believe, is skewing more towards digital. Of the
Yeah.
distribution of games for sure. But
Yeah, so what I'm asking for day one, I want to plug my PS5 into my TV.
mm,
I want to log in with my PlayStation email and password.
yep,
I want to go over to whatever the interface looks like. I want to go over to library. I want to see the option to download all the digital games that I already own.
beautiful,
I
beautiful.
want to like just like as fast as possible. The second I log in, give me the option to download Red Dead 2.
Because like I mean we gotta think right like so how I would assume the adding a game to your library system works, right? Is that I
Hmm.
believe, as far as I'm aware, and again, I'm not aware at all, but this is just like my guess, I would assume that the PlayStation Store, ties like a string of code to your account under your games you own, saying that, hey, if this person ever wants to get this game on the store, just give them the download button as opposed to like
Yes.
pay for it, right? That's what I'm
Right.
assuming how it works, right? So I don't think it's out of the question to have that easily transfer to PS5 and it all work okay. Even though I know that I don't know if they'll do this change because obviously with the PS3 and the PS4 there, that's ran significantly different than the PS4's PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
For example, the PS3 is off. I think it's literally off
It's like a cell architecture or something
of
like that, right?
yeah that and like getting into the store. It's actually just a web page. It's not like an actual
Yeah.
application. I know that uh, off the PS3, and so like
Right. So
yeah
I was just gonna say because it's Mark Cerny, because we have confirmation that PlayStation 4 games will be compatible. I feel like this is an easy thing for them to grant.
yeah yeah
Like as far as whatever we're gonna talk through on this episode, I feel like that is one of the easiest things they could do and do very well.
definitely definitely
Because like odds are, as long as I have the money, I'm probably buying a PS5 Day One. So I'll just throw that in my entertainment center and then bring my PS4 into my room if I can play, um, like if I can play Red Dead on both,
Right.
I can just have it in two different rooms on two different TVs.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I know for me as well, like the minute they do pre-orders, I'm gonna pre-order it on
Hmm.
Amazon because like I believe they don't charge you till it starts shipping on
I think
Amazon.
that's
I
the
think
case most of the time. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure there's some exceptions.
Yeah, like I know yeah, because I know for games on Amazon, if you're buying like a physical copy of a game or even I think digital as well, they don't charge you until they start distributing and shipping the actual system and stuff like that. So I think I'm definitely buying a day one, no matter what, and but I would like to think that especially with Mark Cerny and like how especially the way the PS4 was developed and everything, it definitely does seem like them getting their stuff together in terms of the PS Store and the OS and the hardware and stuff like that. How the PS3 was such an anomaly, how the cell processor, like you said, already before, and just how the PS Store functioned and ran was definitely not up to slew and up to par, you know.
Hmm.
And it seems like Mark Cerny being back again, he's definitely wanting to like secure that and move
Yeah.
forward in a better, and just move forward in a better way and make everything a lot better than it was on PS3, So I would like to see that personally. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like any issues that they could run into with this, but I don't see one. Like the main I think key to all this is just going to be your account. You know.
Yeah, because based on, I know there was some speculation about like how much of the weight is going to be on developers to make games playable on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I'm assuming that the PS4, like for all intents, like the PS5 structurally will be very similar. There will be some overlap with how the PS4 is.
Exactly.
So it'll be able to run games the same way, like because it's Mark Cerny who led the PS4, I'm almost positive, again, we don't have confirmation on this stuff. I'm almost positive that like he probably designed the PS5 in a way that backwards compatibility is just there from the get-go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like Microsoft had to figure it out this generation.
Right.
PlayStation never figured it out.
Yeah. Which
But
for
now that
yeah.
they have a new like foundation to base their stuff off of with the PS4, it just makes a lot of sense that if I can pop Spider-Man in there and it can work, then let me download my digital games.
100%. 100%. I agree. And we've talked a ton about this across Cross Circle as a whole and everything, but I think we both agree that we never saw a future where PS5 came out and it did not have backwards compatibility. Like
Oh
with the
yeah,
landscape that we have right now, with like imagine if like there wasn't like I don't know like cross progression on Fortnite on PS5. Imagine if like that'd be very that wouldn't happen, but just imagine like how that would react if we had Fortnite on PS5 day one, but you had to make a whole new account or something dumb like
right, yeah.
that. Even though that account stuff is done on the Epic side and different from PlayStation, but I don't know. I thought there was no way that there wouldn't be backwards compatibility, and so I think there's a good chance that we'll be able to just get a library from PS5 and from PS4, excuse me, and keep moving forward and adding PS5 games.
That would be hopeful. So,
Now,
what is your next poll you want to take?
mine was going to be talking a little bit more about the OS, right? And
Okay.
PlayStation opening its walls to the services, right? So we've been seeing it past few weeks. We've been reporting on it on Save Slot. That we've got a lot of like EA Access leaks. That like EA Access, their $5 a month service that gives you access to all of EA's games that they have currently on the service. It's kind of like a Netflix of games, just a subscription service that you can get where you can download. And it's currently on Xbox, and they have like a bunch of upcoming EA games. And I think all of their new games from EA come their day one, I believe. If I'm not
Interesting.
mistaken, I think so. I think it's just
Okay.
it's sort of like Game. Actually, it's exactly like Game Pass, but for just EA games.
But can you download them? Like
I
it's not
believe you
streaming,
can.
right?
It's not
Okay.
streaming. I believe you can. Like same with Game Pass, how you can download those games. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure you download EA games as well. off of
Gotcha.
EA Access. Yeah, so like there's been a bunch of different leaks, and like it was posted on the PS Store as well in some random country. I forget what it was, but like there was an advertisement on that PS Store on
Hmm.
in that country and stuff like that. So it's a good sign that they could be allowing other services onto the platform, you know. But even to go further from EA Access, I think cross regression and further crossplay has to be addressed. I think in
So
next gen.
like,
So and like what I mean by that mainly is cross progression.
right.
As
So
for me
like,
personally,
let me be my same Destiny Guardian on my Xbox and my
yeah,
PS4.
yeah,
Okay.
and more specifically, obviously, this will be the point. The on third party games,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I feel like it's still a case to case basis too, right? Because like,
Yeah,
wasn't there that report that came out that said Bungie was the reason that you couldn't?
I thought it was put. Oh, I thought it was another example of PlayStation stopping them from wanting to do it. Or
I
am I
could be
tripping?
wrong on that, but I remember
Oh,
there was some report recently about Destiny crossplay and cross progression.
hmm. Possibly, I don't know. But
Okay.
well, I remember that article you were talking about, but I just forgot what exactly it was. But um, I think it's just I don't know. That's what I would like to see. I just think that's definitely something that they should focus on. And like for me personally, I don't really care that much about crossplay. You know, I know it's cool, like it's a fun feature and stuff like that. And it definitely does help with a lot of third party games that are a little bit older, where you overall have a bigger pool of people to play with and match with and stuff like that. Um, and just the main thing for me is cross progression. Like
Okay.
cross progression is like the main thing I want. Like you said, like you should be able to start a character Destiny 3 whatever on your Xbox or PS4 and then go vice versa or on PC and have that same account, you know.
That's interesting because I feel like there's not a ton of instances where I would need cross progression.
Really.
Yeah. And
Let's
I think it can't hurt to have, but for me personally, like there's only like I honestly think the biggest one is Fortnite, and that was
yeah,
fixed.
that's what
Because
I was
like
about to say as well. Yeah.
yeah, because with Destiny, it's like yeah, I have my Guardian, but I can't play Destiny on my Switch. I'm not a PC gamer. I have thought about buying an Xbox before. I'm not against it, but like I feel like if I'm near an Xbox, that if I owned one, I would also be near a PlayStation where I play Destiny on,
Fair.
you know?
Fair. And
And like yeah, I feel like there's like such just a small pool. Again, I'm not against cross progression, but
right,
personally, I
right.
don't think I would ever use it much.
Right.
Like a handful of games, maybe if there's one that comes to Switch as well as PS4 or PS5, and they're like a Destiny, Diablo, Monster Hunter like game where you're progressing in that way, then I could see myself being invested in it and wanting cross progression. But the one game that I wanted cross progression in, I have it now.
Right. And like also that is now, right? Like
Right.
what happens next gen when we have another game that is on all these platforms and we have another Fortnite situation where like man, like it'd be cool to have the same account on my Switch version of this game and my PlayStation to have the same account as well and work together and progress in tandem, you know, as opposed to separate with different accounts. So I guess like a big thing of that just like future proofing, I guess that notion of how Fortnite laid out with PS5, I mean PS4 and that
Mhm.
progression and that whole thing. But yeah, and like also just one thing to know here as well, like in a just really small thing, you could connect like your Discord account to your Xbox account, and so
Yeah.
when you're playing something on your Xbox, it'll show up on your Discord and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think that'd be cool to have that on PS as well, and that's just like another example of them opening up their kind of OS and their ecosystem to other services and just playing a little bit more friendly just for the user's sake. Even though they've laid out multiple times that you know it's not only like a logistics thing, but it's also a money thing as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Which definitely makes sense in my opinion. Like how you know if they, uh, would rather not have you buying something on an Xbox platform, like let's say like buying a skin on the Xbox platform and you use it on your PlayStation, they never saw any of that money. You know,
Yeah,
when you bought
because
it on
you
Xbox,
get into
yeah,
weird
it's
sort of
weird.
things like that, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Because I feel like there's a value to that to a certain extent. Like if I'm playing, and this is more so from the cross-play perspective.
Mm,
Say I'm playing Destiny 2 with someone on Xbox,
right.
and then I whip out this crazy nice PlayStation exclusive gun,
Mm,
and then they're like, "Oh, damn, where'd you find that? That's sick." It's like, "Sorry, bud, you gotta have PS4 to have this thing." Like, I feel like that's still keeping that air of exclusivity there, you know, and
right.
it's not taking away from it. But like, yeah, I guess you're if you got that gun on PS4 and then you signed into your same account on Xbox, then there's the issue of like what you said. But I don't know. In my head, I just feel like the pool of people who have multiple consoles and multiple copies of the game like that is small enough where they don't mind eating that cost.
Is that kind of the whole essence of this argument of like the whole cross play cross thing, where like it's really in actuality affecting a very small amount of people, and chances are, if you have multiple consoles, you're likely probably a hardcore gamer and
Hmm.
someone that follows the industry and someone that is on Reddit and on Twitter, you know, talks like you and I, etc. And so they're more likely also to be more vocal about it,
Right.
you know, and have this kind of like hive minds kind of just subsect of this issue that seems granular and seems big because it's so loud, but it's really not. Maybe, perhaps, perhaps.
Yeah.
But what is your next one? Let me hear it. Let me
So
hear it.
my next one is kind of like it's not underwhelming, but it's like very specific.
Mm.
Let me just be able to use DualShock 4 controllers on my PS5.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
And I'm very yeah. I want you now. Keep in mind, I love the DualShock 4, especially coming from DualShock 3. And
Hmm.
if you think the DualShock 3 wasn't as bad as you think it was, hold a DualShock 4, then go back to a DualShock 3 and hold it for 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
come back to me because it is a
So
leaps and bounds better than the DualShock 3.
where I'm coming from with this isn't so much as the fact that I prefer the DualShock 4 and I don't think they could make a good DualShock 5, but it's mainly from the point where like so I have a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
On my Switch, I have one, two, three. I have three sets of Joy-Con. I have a Pro controller,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a GameCube controller. So I have a lot of ways to control my Switch.
Right.
I have two controllers for my PS4,
Uh huh.
and I did not have the second controller until I sold a system, kept the controller, and then bought a new system that came with a controller. Because I could never, ever justify buying a second controller to play multiplayer games because there's not enough local multiplayer games on the PS4
Right.
that warranted a purchase.
Right.
But there are some, and I do like being able to play multiplayer games on my PS4.
Local
There,
multiplayer games, like
yeah, because
okay,
there were
couch.
instances where I was like, "Hey, yeah, I have Injustice 2. Can't do co-op with my brother because he doesn't have a PS4 controller at the time, at least."
Right.
And then that was just a bummer. And I was like, "There's so many multiplayer local experiences that I want to have on my PS4, but I can't." I can't because I don't want to spend $65 for maybe two multiplayer co-op games. Because with Nintendo, it's like there's consistent like local multiplayer games.
So you can justify buying a new Joy-Con pairs, like or buying
Yeah,
like right, right.
and like
I see what you're
now
saying.
having two DualShocks is nice because like one's always charged.
Right.
But moving into the PS5, I expect the same thing's going to happen. So if I buy, like now, I'm more inclined to buy something like, say, Lego Star Wars 1 through 9 comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
More inclined to buy that on a Switch because I already have enough for a co-op experience.
Right.
Versus a PS5 that only lets me use the in-box controller.
Right. I see.
It's like if I have the chance to play co-op, it's coming out on Switch. I might as well just buy it on Switch because I don't want to have to spend $70 on a new controller.
Now, here's my own, like, I totally agree with you. Totally doesn't make sense, and I kind of see that happening in a way. But what happens when the DualShock 5, or whatever we want to call it, the next DualShock, is true to the leaks that we've been seeing? You know, even though a lot of them have been discredited, a lot of them, you know, have been proven to be just mock-ups and not real. But what if one of them ends up being legit and one of them actually
You're talking about the touchscreen one?
Yeah. Like, so then at that point, I can see two avenues of thought going down. One is that the game will change those specific inputs that you need a touchscreen to be more in line with just touch, you know, and being compatible with the DualShock 4. Maybe it could sense that, hey, you're playing on DualShock 4, and then just do touchscreen. I mean, like, it'll just act as a touchpad and do that. And it just...
So...
Go ahead.
Oh, you can continue your thought. I was going to just...
Or, well, I guess it's only one. Because then, like, if they were going down that route, the touchscreen features would just be not required for PS5 games, but an additive to it. Similar to how, like, you know, there's additive visuals and visual fidelity on the PS4 Pro as opposed to PS4, even though they're the same game. It's all just additive. Like, it's not like it's taking away necessarily from the experience. It's just additive. So I think they could probably do that where, you know, the additive features are only for if you have a PS5 DualShock 5 that has the touchscreen, you know, as opposed to just playing on DualShock 4 and you have just slightly, you just don't have those gimmicks, if you will, like those features in the game, perhaps.
So here's what I have to say to that. I believe that DualShock 5 leak.
Really?
Yes.
So you 100% believe that it'll have a touchscreen?
I believe that is a real PlayStation issue controller. I don't know if that's going to be the final controller, but I believe that is a real thing.
Well, now, because...
And
go ahead.
I will guarantee you that touchscreen pad will end up the exact same way that the touchpad had. And I think the only reason it's there is because they still need that sort of interface, at least like the touch-based thing, for some PS4 games.
Well, I agree with you on that. I don't think...
And I also think that nobody's going to use it.
Oh,
I think it's going to go the exact same way as the touchpad.
The same fate as the back rear touchpad on the Vita. The same fate as the camera on the Vita. The same fate as the DualShock 4 touchpad. It'll be used in the beginning. And probably some cool ways. You know, there was... And you can only think of like maybe one or two ways that are really cool with it. Like for me, my favorite way that they used the Vita touchpad was with Tearaway. I thought they did some pretty cool stuff there with puzzles and everything. But they will all eventually go to the wayside and just be, like for the DualShock 4's sake, a glorified menu button. You know, or a glorified map button. You know, here we go.
You could also say it goes the same fate as the Vita.
Don't you dare.
Not just its little gimmicks. But yeah, it would just be nice.
What?
Hey guys.
Sorry. Sorry.
It would just be nice. I feel like not only for the convenience of having controllers to swap out between, like already at the get go, but I would like to be able to have the option at least to consider buying local like fighting games, racing games, stuff like that on PS4.
Right.
Rather than always presuming going in I'm going to buy it on Switch. So
I agree. I see. I like it.
What about you? What's next?
Mine is the pace of PlayStation exclusives to match the PS4's pace of exclusives. Okay. Now, I do not have in front of me, I did not do a lot of research on the PS3 era of games and how many exclusives were coming out per year on that platform.
Well, there was that one year where they like did one a month, right?
Well, I would like to assume based off of an article that I will read a little bit later with Sean Layden, and them saying that they deliberately slowed down the pace of exclusives for PS4. I would have to assume because of that statement that there were more exclusives per year coming out on the PS3 era. Is that safe to assume for this conversation? Like, I feel
I
like
think so.
that might be safe to assume. We're gonna assume that. If I'm terribly wrong, then just negate that whole argument, right? But
Hmm.
so to pseudo put that on the argument, but negate it if it's false. I would like the PS5 to keep the same pace as the PS4 for exclusives, right? So, for example, in 2016, and these are just major exclusives. There are plenty of other ones that I don't bring up in this current list that have come out. Like I think Neo's off of here, the Nat games are off here. You know what I'm saying? But like generally speaking, I just started like 3 years back and just went on. So
Hmm.
2016, we had Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted 4 in the beginning half of the year for major ones, and arguably you could take off Ratchet and Clank as not really that massive, but I would say it was pretty. I would say it was a pretty substantial exclusive for the platform. But obviously, Uncharted 4 being the juggernaut exclusive of that time, of course. In the beginning half of 2016, at the end we got Last Guardian. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? 2017, the first half of the year we had Horizon, but we also had Neo around that time as well. We had Persona 5, I believe, as well in that range of the beginning half of the
April.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that kind of first half of the year, basically pre E3 and post E3 is kind of how I'm going at this. Kind of, sort of like pre summer, post summer, whatever. And then at the end half of that year, we got Uncharted Lost Legacy. As kind of like the main key mark PlayStation exclusive of that year of 2017. Last year, of course, we had God of War and then Marvel Spider-Man. So it looks like they definitely hit like a 1-2 punch with all of their exclusives. And if we are going to take Sean Layden's, recent article, which it was a interview he posted earlier this year, where they say that we are spending more energy on our exclusives than ever before. Like we are dumping in more time, more resources, and more money as well into these exclusives to not only strike the critical acclaim but the commercial success as well. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I think, as far as I'm aware, they've definitely done a very good job at that this gen.
And they will continue because this year we got Days Gone
Mm-hmm.
coming this week.
Yep.
And then in the fall, we're going to have Last of Us Part 2, as well as Concrete Genie. So,
Concrete Genie, yes. Oh wait, it's not. Yeah, that's a fall, dude. Last of Us stresses me out, man. I read that article yesterday during Easter dinner, and I could not stop. It just kept bothering me. It kept bothering me. I can't do it. I'm gonna have an aneurysm because this fucking game. But anyway, um, so I feel like I feel like definitely with Sean Lane's quotes here from
mhm.
this year, mind you, they're from February. I think that there's a good chance that we will see this, you know, keep going, right? And so, I don't know. So that's my thing. I don't know if you have a take on that. I don't know if you want to see more. If you feel like they're not doing enough on the exclusive standpoint, or what are you thinking?
I think they are. I think that having two a year is a good pace. I feel like more often than not, they choose the best time to release their games. There's been a couple times where I feel like just like they drop at a bad time.
I would
Um,
say recently they dropped two exclusives at a pretty bad time.
yeah,
Dreams and Days Gone.
yeah.
I don't. This just the whole Dreams Days Gone thing seems very. I don't understand why.
Well, Dreams I feel like makes sense because it's early access and it's limited and it's going for
I suppose.
the existence as a creative tool and not a game.
I suppose, but wouldn't you want these to kind of breathe and have their moment? You know, I don't
Not
know.
really, because I don't
No.
see much of a crossover between who's buying those two games.
Well, I'm not
Because I
saying
feel
that
like Days Gone
necessarily.
is going to appeal to the a wider audience
Oh well,
in a way
of
that
course.
something like maybe even Last of Us doesn't. Because Last of Us is like this really emotional character based um, narrative in a dire world that focuses more on the humans rather than like the freakers. Sorry, not freakers. They did it to me. They got me to say freakers. They got me to say
I was like,
freakers.
is he gonna say it? Is he gonna finally say it?
Flickers. Um, but with Days Gone, it's more like, oh, open world game. Dude's got a biker jacket. Open world, lots of zombies. Kill them all. Like I feel like that's just more appealing to the millions of people that watch The Walking Dead or people that love State of Decay or Dead Rising or people who
So that more like
still a bunch of PlayStation exclusives, but they like Xbox games, you know?
right. So that more like arcadey type of zombie game, is for lack of a better term, I suppose.
Kinda.
Kind of.
Like more glorifying the zombie apocalypse, you know, but not in a cheesy way like Dead Rising.
Right, right, right,
Closer to something like a State of Decay, but it's single player.
right.
Like I think that's a good parody. Like zombies are appealing to a lot of general public, you know? And I feel like Days Gone is probably gonna honestly, I feel like it could go the way of something like Ghost Recon Wildlands where like not a lot of people talk about it, but it sells insanely well.
I cannot wait to see how Days Gone folds out. I actually cannot wait. You know,
I'm interested. I'm interested how it goes.
I am so intrigued to see how this all plays out, and I'm gonna link you some tweets I saw today. Some people got some early copies of Days Gone, and
I saw one like a week or two ago.
I saw I saw one today, and it definitely does kind of bolster what I was portraying in the recent Days Gone video I made. If you know what I'm talking about, if you pick up,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely like, oh, wait a minute. I think I might be able to say, I told you so to everyone talking not trash, but you know, having other opinions about my video I did about Days Gone recently. I think I may be able to say I told you so.
Well, you're not wrong with that because like think about with the whole I so that was all of our 5 picks for the things we want out of the PS5.
Yes.
So I want to transition briefly, I guess, at the end of the show into Days Gone because that is the week of our Lord and Savior Deacon St. John, the Zombie Man.
The homie. I don't know about the homie, but
So I got a couple questions about Days Gone for you now that we're closing out. What do you think the Metacritic score will be by next episode? Days Gone comes out Thursday night. It will have been out for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4.5 days by the time we sit down to record again. What do you think the Metacritic score will be at the beginning of recording next week?
okay. So we talk about a week from now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I've said from the jump. I think I said last episode, and I'll say it again. We have Kevin Mack in the chat saying 75. That's a little bit lower than I think, right? I think it's gonna. So what I told you last week, and what I've said before, is I believe it's gonna be around 84 to 86, right?
Okay.
But as of this recording, with what I've seen on Twitter, which I will not post because obviously that's breaking NDA. I'm not gonna have it on the channel. But I believe I'm free to discuss what I've seen, but not in detail, right? So
Well, here's the thing with that. If they bought them from a store and got the game early, not like review codes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It is running version 1.02. He posted videos and pictures of his copy of Days Gone running on the latest update that they pushed out for the game. I believe, as of yesterday, there was news of a version 1.03 that is significantly bigger than version 1.02.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I believe, like 27, 28 gigs, like something insane like that. That
Whoa, okay.
is that he's not running on. That he's not running. So maybe this could all be just hoopla, right? But we know of okay. Let's just
The only reason I brought that up is because it's okay to talk about people that are playing a game that they got an early copy of because their store broke street date
Right.
than if somebody breaks NDA. You know?
Right. That's fair. Yeah. So just to break it down here. So it has been out for a few days now that Gorilla not Gorilla Sony Bend came out and was like, yo, the day one patch, it's lined out. That was one of the things that we talked about in that video that was posted on the channel. Version 1.02 is going to be 1.5 gigs, super light. It's going to just have some general, bugs and fixes and everything, stuff like that, right? So that's all we were aware. That would be the only day one update. However, it came out over the weekend that there would be another one, version 1.03,
Gotcha.
that is a lot beefier and clocks in at like 20 gigs. A really, really big update is apparently coming as well. So I have an article here pulled up. It's live. It went live, actually.
Okay.
So it is currently live for those that have Days Gone early. So we'll see. But according to PlayStationBros.com, he's a fellow friend of mine. Well, not a friend, but I just know him, whatever. It's being reported that it's clocking at 21.4 gigs at some points, sometimes at 17.2. And I think that discretion could be just because some people don't have the other versions downloaded. So if you get Days Gone post 1.02, 1.03 will look bigger just because it'll just lump everything in one update. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that could be why there's that discrepancy there. But there is another massive update that came out, which could alleviate what I've seen on Twitter that is now bringing my predictive score to an 80 to 84.
So,
but that could not be that could possibly be negated if version 1.03 fixes all that I've seen. I'll put it back up to 84, 86. So that was a complete technical waste of time just to explain stuff, but I think I'm at 84, 86.
I'm going to say 68 to 70.
What? Oh, dude.
Listen. On Metacritic, listen to me. On Metacritic, 60 or higher is still fine.
No, I mean, but...
Some of my favorite games are 7 out of 10.
No, I mean, I agree. I'm not out here slandering the 70, but, oh, man, I don't know about... Dude, I don't think Days Gone will touch 60. I just don't see it.
Well, there's a difference between a 60 and a 68.
I mean, touch the...
State of Decay 2 has a 66. You know?
Okay.
And the whole reason I brought this up to ask you was because one of the things you talked about in your video was the fact that there's an embargo that lifts for reviews a day before.
Indeed.
The game releases. So every single game has a review embargo. I want to make that clear.
Indeed.
I've gotten emails for codes and being like, hey, you can't talk about it until this date.
Indeed.
Like, all right.
Happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Recently, Bethesda made some headlines probably like a year or two ago where they were like, hey, we're not even going to send out review copies until like the day before or the day of.
I don't think... I know they said something to that tone, but I forgot if it was they're not giving out any copies until the game launches or the day before, but it could be the day before. I don't know.
Yeah, so if a game has an embargo that lifts like the day before, or I don't think I've ever seen one day of. I could just be missing that.
I don't know about day of, but
if it is day before, usually from the whole back end of it, day before usually makes you think that the publisher or whoever's in charge of setting the embargo is like, hey, this could go like one of two ways. We're not sure. There's like this pretty glaring negative about the game, but we're not sure how much this is going to affect the score. So we're just going to wait until the last possible second.
Right.
So that way some people who are on the fence might pre-order it. That's way people who are on the fence might just give in and then buy the game day one without realizing reviews have been out there. But like God of War, Horizon, they know they had something there. You're like, yeah, sure, post your reviews a week before. You know? So there is something to be read from the fact that a game's embargo for reviews lifts within a day of release versus within a week versus like 2 weeks.
Exactly. And like as far as I'm aware, right, the person that made the video, right, I'm pretty sure I outlined all those things in the video.
Yeah, I just want to
Correct me.
reiterate.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You get
Yeah.
a second voice saying the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah. No, not to like get what you're saying, but I'm trying to just like underline that. That's what I was saying in my video. I
Yeah.
never once said that I think Days Gone is going to be bad.
No,
As the yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, listen, out of the two of us on this channel, there's one person that has been generally on the uppity up of Days Gone, and one person that's been generally down on the downy down of Days Gone. And the
And
person that made that video was definitely the uppity up person, not the downy down person.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like also similar to how I was with Anthem, I'm like playing it up a little bit. I might get Days Gone if it gets good reviews.
Yeah, I know it's all hyperbolic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
But like 68 to 70, that I feel like that is still a game that I would consider purchasing.
Right, right. Yeah, and like what, like I guess like that was like the overall thesis of the video was that although it is not 100%, it is safe to say I believe, and I believe everyone else can agree, generally speaking, that if a review embargo for a game comes out the day before it releases, typically that could mean and could be speaking to either the confidence of the publisher, aka Sony, or the developers, of their confidence of what they are creating, or the quality of the game itself.
And sometimes it could mean couldn't mean any of that. It's just like you gotta like read the cards the way they're dealt right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and we could be sitting here next week and be like, man, you know what? Days Gone's getting 90s. This is insane. The embargo meant nothing. Or maybe we could be sitting here and seeing the scores be 60s, 70s and be like, man, this is why the embargo is what it is. And we'll use to compare those things, which I think one of them was a pretty good comparison, but the other one I think is a much better comparison. God of War came out a week before, which I think is a pretty good comparison. Again, another PlayStation exclusive, you know what I'm saying? But the difference with that one is that it had obviously a lineage of games that came before it. It has a franchise, a established franchise. So, you know, definitely different one to compare, but I think comparable because of the PlayStation exclusiveness of that versus the direct comparison I feel, which is Horizon Zero Dawn, another new IP, open world game, made by a studio that is definitely doing a different take on what they've been doing in the past.
Yeah.
You know, as far as I'm aware, Ben Studio has not made an open world game yet. They did Siphon Filter.
Shooters.
Yeah, they did Siphon Filter. They did Golden Abyss. Mm-hmm. They have not done an open world game. They have done third person. You're right there. Yeah, they've done third person shooters, not open world game. So I guess that could be a little minute difference if you want to put that there with Horizon Zero Dawn, being that studio was mainly built on a first person shooter, and they went out and did a third person RPG action adventure game. You know what I'm saying? So you could say that as a difference, but that's very negligible. Like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, still like moving from linear to open world is still a big deal because like Nintendo was not able to get Breath of the Wild to work because they didn't do open world games.
Yeah.
Like the reason it got delayed so many times was because they could like it was a mess because they were trying to do things and then it would mess up something on the complete other side of the map and they didn't know what to do about it.
Right.
So they had to bring in somebody who was like better at it.
Right.
Monolith Soft, who did Xenoblade, because they know open worlds. So like, still moving to an open world, even if you're a really good developer, is still a challenge.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
So yeah. I'm interested to see how Days Gone does. I'm not picking it up day one.
Yeah, yeah, that's been discussed. Yeah, I am getting it day one. Mm-hmm. I just gotta see I gotta see what's going on. I gotta see it. You know, I gotta see it day one. I gotta see what happens here. But that's I guess like it's the main thing of the video. In no way, shape, or form, I was trying to say that I believe Days Gone is going to be bad because of this. I thought providing the evidence of my line of thinking that perhaps there could be something afoot. Perhaps there's something wrong with Days Gone. Maybe. Perhaps. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And that's it. And like I thought everything I said was pretty straightforward. I think some people just, you know, took some things I said out of context and just like ran with it or, you know, wasn't fully understanding what I was trying to say. So like this cleared it up, you know? But that's that way. And again, I'm not butthurt about it. I'm not mad. I'm not whatever. Like I understand if you have an opinion, you can voice that. If you disagree with me, That's completely fine with me. You can disagree with me all you want. That's completely okay. I'm not, trying to make like this like weird, like echo chamber of people that only agree with me. No one's gonna get blocked or whatever. Nah, like it's completely okay. I just wanted to clear up what was being said in the comments as to what they thought that I was saying, which I thought I definitely was clear on not saying, because that's not what I was trying to say. But I think it got lost in translation, so that's what it is. But
All right.
we will see. But
question for you:
yes, sir.
will you be at any point in the next 7 days streaming
Days Gone.
anything, but
yeah.
especially Days Gone?
Oh yeah. So now, as you all know, I do my launch night streams of major games. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll bring in props. You know what I'm saying? Like we had the Spider-Man mask for the 4 hour long Spider-Man stream. That was fun.
He has a live zombie. He sent me a picture of it.
It is.
In
It
his
is true.
basement.
It is.
Sorry, Freaker.
Hey, Freaker. I have it chained up. It's gonna be just back here dangling like an E3. But
There's a difference because you have to give it water.
That's true. There's a big difference. You're right. But however, that will not happen for this one because we have we have a little movie, called Avengers Endgame. I'm not sure if y'all are aware of it. It's a very, very low key movie, but that's happening on Thursday. So, I will not be one of those people that choose Days Gone over Endgame. As much as I am looking forward to Days Gone, I don't know who would pick this game over Endgame. So I will not be one of them. Kudos if you are, but not me. So I'll be doing it on Friday, specifically Friday night. We'll be going for a while. I don't know how long, but I will stream my first play through, not fully, but like my first play session of Days Gone will be streamed. So look out for that Friday night. Tune into the Twitch, tune into Twitch as well as the Twitter for updates as well on the Twitch stream of Days Gone for the channel. And we might do some stuff here and there because I've been, again, crack cocaine addicted to Apex. So might be doing some of that this week. We might be doing some of that Fortnite Avengers stream as well. Might be doing that mode or whatever they are, skins or something like that. So we will see what's going on there. But expect a lot of stuff. Links in the description to our Twitch down there.
Very nice.
Indeed.
So, I'm not sure if you plugged your Twitter in that, but if you would like to plug it again, go for it.
I don't think I did. Links down here. Not links, but my @ is down here. You can add me on Twitter with all your Days Gone hate and stuff like that. And all that good stuff down there on my Twitter. Follow me on there. Also, there's an important poll there. Should I get MK11 on Switch or PS4 Pro? Let me know. Give me a reason why. Let me know your thoughts down there on Twitter. But where can the good people find you, Christian?
You can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. It's listed underneath my face. I'm probably not going to be doing any streams anytime soon. I think I'm getting Mortal Kombat 11, but I'm just getting it for the story. So that's not super interesting for streaming. I'm not some pro Mortal Kombat player.
Right.
So yeah, I have a show on youtube.com/joyclicks. Speaking of Marvel, our Avengers Infinity War review came up today.
Oof.
As posted on the channel and on podcast services. We have a bonus special episode releasing tomorrow that is all about Endgame spoilers. Not spoilers, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm like, really? I'm like, wait.
It's all about Endgame theories.
Okay.
And I went off on one that came to me at like 2 a.m., and I'm convinced it's happening. So if you're interested in that, check it out tomorrow.
There we go. Deal. Actually, speaking of a little bit, just a little quick interjection. My girlfriend never saw Homecoming, but she saw Infinity War. But she saw Civil War. So she knew that Spider-Man existed, but didn't understand how deep the bond went with Tony and Peter. So she was very confused as to why Tony was, hysterical when Peter, faded away and stuff like that. And why they were so, close and stuff like that. So, showed her Homecoming last night. She definitely enjoyed it. I have to watch Infinity War. I think that's all I'm going to do. I think for the most part, I'm caught up with everything. I just wanted to watch Homecoming just with her, so she gets that. Then I'm watching Infinity War at some point this week before Thursday. But
very nice.
There we go. That's that.
All right, well, that was an episode. Until next time.
Ooh, wait! Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to Kevin Mack. Shout out to the Stark. Shout out to JJ32. Shout out to Dr. Anarchy 1. Shout out to Elena. Shout out to Baby D61. All that good stuff. Brian Ducey. The boy Armand. Also, Bart's Omation. Shout out to you as well. And especially shout out to the Starks. Shout out to you, homie. Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you. But you may proceed with the outro. Sorry.
Until next time.
Greatness awaits.
See ya.
Cheer.